Welcome to He Did This to Me, the sports podcast from a father and son who happen to be mostly optimistic Knicks, Mets, and Jets fans. My name is Nick, a.k.a. Goody, and with me is my old man, a.k.a. the big guy, Noel. And just like his name, all we do is win. Let's get to the show. It's time to begin. As Too Short once said on the chorus of a Jay-Z track, it was all good just a week ago. Knicks lost 3 straight, big guy. Talk to me, man. You panicking or,
No, I'm not panicking. I said to you last week, I've said to you all the time, it's going to be a bumpy ride. We started out 5-6 last year and ended up with 54 wins.
2-4. Also, not just 5-6, but 2-4. Also,
right, right. So, I'm not stressing, but I do think, there's going to be some transition, for a lot of guys on this team. I think we also have to remember something I thought about, Nick. Everybody, everyone looks at everything, like I always say, linear, but also as if, okay, so we're going to be better this year, and this team sucked last year, so they're going to suck this year. First of all, Chicago's much better. You see that already last night.
Much better.
Let me tell you who else who's much better. Philadelphia. Okay, they got that rookie. They got
Edgecombe.
They got who?
Maxey.
When are they supposed to get this guy McLean back?
Oh, I don't know, because he had a fairly significant injury.
I don't know. But if he comes back
Jared
soon,
McLean,
and you got all 3 of them, then you got a guy like Embiid, just has to be serviceable. You know what I'm saying? You don't need Embiid to be all-world scoring 30. You need Embiid scoring, 18 points and getting 12 rebounds, stuff like that. That takes a big load off of him, which I think is the smartest thing they can do for that team, frankly. But it's just that other teams in the East are getting better. Some might slip, some will get better. There's no sure thing that everything's going to work out as it did last year or better. We're going to have to get it and we're going to have to grab it. We're going to have to play more consistent. It was very disappointing yesterday with how well we played to come back in that second quarter? And then
came back in the third quarter.
Third quarter it was.
Yeah.
Okay,
third quarter we played great. First half, the defense, the whole team was. Anyway, go ahead.
We shit the bed, and then we were right there at the end of the game, and we had like 2 or 3 straight trips down the floor that were just disastrous on both ends, and the game basically ended right there. With about 3 minutes left, and we were close. We were within 5.
Yep, we got it down to 3.
Yeah, 2 straight missed threes and 2 straight absolute blow-bys by, what's his name? Who's the guy Cat was holding? Down the stretch, one time the guy went right around him. The other time, it just, and I'm not blaming it all on Cat. It just was glaring right then because he also missed the 2 straight 3-pointers at the other end.
When he first came back into the game, he missed the 3. Honestly, the blow-bys is the thing that bothered me the most about the game. From, top to bottom with everybody. Yeah. Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, Cat as well. There were certain times, and Mike Brown talking about it in his presser, I'm sorry, but some of that is just a lack of, intensity and attention to detail at the very beginning of a possession where these guys kind of catch you off guard. And clearly, Chicago, like you said, way better team. This dude, Josh Giddey. Is it just Josh Giddey? I almost call him Josh Giddey. I just think, man,
he's good, man.
He's always killed the Knicks.
He always kills the Knicks. What kills me about him, Nick, is he's not a great shooter.
But he's gotten
better.
Much better.
But you cannot stop. Well, at least nobody on the Knicks can stop him from going to the rim.
Nobody in the league. He's killing the league right
now.
The dude he's 6'8". He's got a handle, and
then they got that other guy, some African name guy. I forget his name. I can't pronounce his name. Afwanu or something like that.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, that guy couldn't be stopped going to the rim either.
Yeah.
And then the Vuzelis or something like that.
But that kid is nice.
Wow.
Yo, his game, he's crazy skilled. He's 6'10". He's legit 6'10". He's crazy skilled.
He's a foreign import?
Yeah, look at his last name.
Right, but I don't know, but he never went to a university here in the States.
Nah, Buzelis, yeah. Marcus Buzelis,
wow. Whoever scouted him did a good job, Nick. He's a talent, man. He's nice. Guys.
Matas Buzelis is his name.
Dude.
And then you're talking about Dusunmu. Dude who, there was a couple times where he hit a shot where it's like, yo, he's that nice? Damn. You know what I noticed yesterday, Dad? And it's something, I've been saying this to you for a long time, is that, when my kid gets to a certain age, I'm going to try very hard to have him drill making that shot off the glass where you can't quite get to the point where you have the good angle.
Yeah.
but it's like almost like a short like hook. It seemed like everybody on the Bulls is really good at that shot.
Yes.
Everybody on the Bulls is just really good
almost
at
like running hook.
Right, where it's like you're at that tough
Yes.
angle, and a lot of guys miss that shot. It's a tough shot.
They practice that.
Yo, they gotta practice that, man. Something, because it seemed like they were all hitting that shot with consistently, but specifically Giddey. That is his shot, man. But yo, at the end of the day, we score 125 points.
Got to win the game.
The defense, and it's clearly an effort and attention to detail thing, because they come out in the third quarter and it's noticeable. Breen's talking about it. Anybody who's watching the game, you and I obviously could see it. It's just like, yo, why is it that we take a second? It's like the Knicks need to like do something where they manufacture some sort of chip on their shoulder before games, like some Jordan type shit, where it's just like, that. Have you ever seen that video of Bill Parcells talking about him talking to Lawrence Taylor and saying, "Hey, why don't you just go ahead and go down here and we'll get this guy because he plays well against this team and you never do. So I just know, here's a plane ticket." I've seen this clip of Parcells saying this talking about LT. He says that to him on Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever. And he says, here's a plane ticket. You go here. We need this guy. I think it was a guy from the Redskins, and we're going to have him go down there and him play. If you've seen the clip, you know what I'm talking about. No. Then obviously, and he starts MFing him. LT ends up having 3 sacks. The Knicks need to do something, because it seems like they need to get down by a little bit and get annoyed with themselves, and then they turn it up. And yesterday's game, it had all of the makings of a game where it's like, all right, you're down by 19, you push and you play really well to get back and get it close, but then you run out of steam. It just had all of the makings of that, man. And I mean, there's so many people that we can talk about. Honestly, I think that Brunson and OG are the only ones that I texted you in the first half. I think you texted me that OG looked drunk.
He did after one play.
You think everybody looks drunk or like they're
no, OG looked drunk after one play. I was like, okay, come on. I think they just gave him a stiff cup of coffee at halftime.
I don't even think OG's one of them types. He doesn't even drink. Like when he does have one drink, he's probably lit. I just feel like they were the only 2 guys who seemed like from the very beginning of the game that they were like, yo, this is serious and I want to win this fucking game. And it drives me nuts that we can't do that consistently. Typically, it's the third quarter where we let go of the rope. This time it was the third quarter that we, started to actually show some gumption. But, yo, man, at the end of the day, we can't put it together for 48 minutes. But Well,
and that's just it. It's a 48 minutes thing. What I noticed, Nick, like you're saying with the defense, it seemed like that third quarter we came out and everybody was bending their knees and keeping the defender between their knees, putting their hands out and all that. But then you look at the waning part of the fourth quarter, and frankly, it was glaring on those cat plays where the one guy blew by him, where it's like, Cat, I don't understand why you're ever this close to a guy and you're standing straight up. You stand straight up, and then the guy makes a move, and you basically just turn. You're straight. Dude, there's zero chance that you can stay with somebody if they make a move if you stand straight up. Literally, I think that, the coaches on the other team will say, if Cat's on you and he's standing straight up, go around him. He cannot stay with you. If he bends his knees and puts his hands out, he's a formidable, that makes him much more formidable, Nick. Much more than if he because if he stands straight up and puts his hands down, you can go by him, because for him to get back into that stance to get to you, he's trailing now. And that's exactly what he did. He ran behind the guy and was like this as the guy made the basket. I don't understand why at that moment you kind of exhale.
I think some of it probably has to do with fatigue. But I also think that it is a lack of attention to detail, because, I saw Cat make one of the best defensive plays I've ever seen him make yesterday when it came to that block.
Yes.
And it's like, I just,
why in that moment you're so locked in, but you can't stay locked in like that. It's very disappointing, man. It's very, very disappointing. Yeah. Like you said, I don't get on him as much. Look, those threes he took, they were good shots. He just missed them. Yeah. That can happen.
Yeah.
But dude, man, you can't follow that up with 2 straight times letting guys go right to the bucket. It cannot happen.
I felt like the one time he got totally beat and he let a guy go right to the bucket. I thought the other time where, there was the first time where he ended up giving up the and one, I actually thought that he played decent defense there until the very end where he decides to put a hand on the guy like this as opposed to just go straight up and make that play as hard as possible. As we've seen, when you have a big man who is challenging around there, it makes it a little bit harder. The guy doesn't get exactly the right angle. The ball comes off the rim. I don't. That
hand right there,
that hand,
that just kills me.
It's going to get a foul called
every time.
All the time.
Dude,
all the time.
Up, man.
Yeah,
Just
it's mind-boggling. It really is.
No,
defensively, though, I mean, I watched Bridges in the first quarter and again at one point in the second half where a guy just straight beats him off the dribble and just goes straight to the rim and lays it up. And Bridges is known as being a great defender.
Which was surprising to me. When this guy, I think Swanu or whatever, he did that to Bridges, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah,
one guy did that to Bridges and went baseline.
Yeah, just gave him a jab step and went baseline.
I was like,
straight up.
Whoa. And first of all, I was surprised that Bridges let that happen. But second of all, that was an excellent move by this guy, Nick. I mean, they had quite a few guys who could go to the hole.
I mean,
he should have just not given up the baseline. And made him go to the lane. But he messed up that time.
And also, but sometimes the lack of awareness when it comes to help defense, and I'm not even just talking about, this isn't just a Cat thing. This is also a Mitch thing.
Mitch was there right then. He should have given them some help.
I mean, like the amount of times that somebody gets beat off the dribble and nobody comes to help and they just go unencumbered for an easy layup. It's very, very, very disappointing, man. And
make
you know what?
Make the next pass.
Make them make the next pass. And what I'm seeing is that there is a lot of things about what I'm seeing from this Knicks team that I'm not only trying not to, but I'm not going to be alarmed about just yet, just because of we are in the infancy of the season. And a lot of it is, I'm sure, we ask for a coach who's going to experiment more during the regular season so that you have some of these things figured out. You're not changing your lineup with, when you're on the brink of elimination in the Eastern Conference Finals. But there's some certain things that if I'm seeing these things 20 games from now, I'm going to be like, yo, what are we doing? Realize the starters were plus 13 last night.
Yeah.
The bench has got to play a whole lot better.
Well, yeah, Clarkson, Yabusele.
I think that Clarkson
is looking better.
He's missing some shots, right. But I think
he's playing hard on D.
He's playing hard on D, which that's always been the thing on him is that he's a terrible defender.
Yabusele looked better last night.
Yabusele, he at least hit a shot, and yes, he's a good screener. He's a very good screener. I thought pull that mic a little bit closer to you. But I just felt like overall, like the bench just didn't give us any punch. You know what I mean? No. Like Kolek didn't distinguish himself and do anything. And Josh Hart has been a bit of a disaster these last couple games.
Josh Hart hasn't looked his best. No.
He's had, that first game he came back, he had the 14 rebounds in 19 minutes. These last couple games, Josh, I haven't loved what I've seen. But honestly, I'm trying not to critique it because I know he's figuring things out, but I haven't loved Mike Brown's rotations. I haven't loved them at all. And there was certain points in a few of these games where it was like, get Brunson back in the game right now. Just because you like to see some time where he's not on the floor and we're still able to function as an offense. But when the game is getting to a certain level of close and then all of a sudden it's getting stretched back to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points, you almost feel like, all right, we need the captain to get back in there just so he can just, stop the bleeding and just get us a bucket. And another thing that we're seeing that plagued this team last year, obviously this is not just a Tibbs thing. This is a thing that Mike Brown has to coach out of or maybe into these players. There's times where the offense just gets stagnant, and it's a hey, give it to Brunson and everybody watch Brunson. And it's not. There's a couple times I blame Brunson. There was 2 possessions yesterday where I was like, yo, I don't love that possession by Brunson right there. But a lot of times I feel like guys just kind of they let the other team dictate to them, and even when it's not just let's rely on Brunson, it's let's swing the ball around the perimeter until we get a 3.
Right.
I like the threes if they're good threes. You have to, as a coach, as a basketball team, as an individual player, sometimes have a feeling that, hey, man, even if we're technically getting good threes, we haven't hit one in a while. We need to get our feet in the paint.
Well, and I mean, sometimes, Nick, I felt like a couple things I want to say. First of all, the whole thing, we're a different team without Tibbs, but I think we're going to be better in certain ways without him. But listen, there's a chance that Tibbs or his coaching staff, there's certain things that maybe he coached last year that we might not be as good at this year. And we're going to see those differences. That's why I say there's going to be some changes. And I think you might see that on the defensive end. I don't know. But I also think.
What do you mean when you say there's going to be some changes?
Well, I mean, Nick, I'm sure there are some things. I don't know exactly what they are, but I'm sure there are some things that Tibbs stressed that maybe this guy won't stress, that we may see differences of it in the games. I mean, listen, man, the game we lost yesterday, we could have easily lost that same game last year. Okay? There's no doubt about that. But we might have lost it differently. I don't know. Or we might have won it. I don't know. I think even I had some issues with some rotations last night, although I thought Shamet in the starting lineup was halfway decent, Nick. I was really, I kind of like that.
When Shamet started, not last game, that was the game before.
Right.
With no Deuce and no Mitch.
Right. He looked pretty good in the starting lineup. Listen, and Mitch has to get healthy and all that, but we just have to play better ball.
I got a question for you about Mitch. Because the first game of the preseason, this guy looked like he was in the best shape of his life. And so a couple weeks of being somewhat sedentary.
What did I write to you yesterday?
What did you write to me about Mitch?
I said Mitch looks slow and a little chubby.
Just a couple weeks? That's all it takes?
Yeah, and being like, all messed up in the head and, with the drama
you
and
saw this.
Eating bonbons.
I have not read that one time, this whole
I just repeat it because it's hilarious.
But did you actually read it somewhere, or did you just make this up?
No. I didn't just make it up.
You're just out here creating.
No, I read that he was having some issues and that he had some issues because he put some things online about drama with his baby mama because supposedly she took their child and absconded back to South Carolina or wherever the fuck, But yeah, so he was in his feels. Isn't that what the young people say these days?
In his feelings, yes. In
his feelings these days about that sort of thing. So maybe that was messing him up. But now, I don't know, man. I'm telling you, that sort of depression, man, that can get you knee deep in a quart bucket of briars.
Yeah. I don't think that. Listen, I do say it is kind of amazing to me.
Cookies and cream.
Physically, I know that Mitch just, he sat out. He clearly had something going on with the ankle. It wasn't just load management. Right. But at the beginning of the preseason, physically, he looked so just spry and in great shape. He looked he looked very svelte. But then in yesterday's game, and some of it's just rust. Give him a little bit of time. But the amount of layups that were being made at the rim with him in the game, typically when Mitch is in the game, you get none of that. There's no layups at the rim.
Because he blocks a few early, and after that, nobody wants to do it. This is what I was going to bring up with the Knicks, though, that I noticed. Getting to the paint, Nick, and then kicking it out. But quite often, they were getting to the paint, but it wasn't like they were getting to the paint looking to score and then kicking it out. They were just getting to the paint for the purpose of kicking it out sometimes. And there were times I thought they could have finished. And that bothers me.
That's the whole NBA. I even thought Giddey yesterday had a couple times where he could have laid it up and he just threw it out. And I mean, that cat, when he gets.
Can we take a step back real quick to the Giannis game for one simple thing?
What's up?
Is there a travel in the NBA anymore?
And the people who want to break down the rules and say the ball's still spinning. So
Stop it. Stop it.
That just shows me that you never played ball at any sort of level or anything.
In the park, cats would have been like, "Yo, dude, if you want to say that's not we're going to have to fight." That's a walk.
And there's some things where you shouldn't have to break down the science or the dynamics of why it's a travel. You should be able to just say, that's a travel. And everybody that's played basketball and that is watching should just all agree, that's a walk, we're going the other way. Yeah.
Everybody gets away with it in the NBA now. It's crazy. But it does seem like they give an extra half or full step to Giannis sometimes. And he's the last guy who needs it.
He don't need it. Exactly.
It's
crazy.
It's ridiculous. Every time he gets the ball down low and he gathers with both his feet, he hops. Every single time.
Yeah.
And every time that's a travel. I know. It's been called on me many times. What the fuck? It's very frustrating. Very frustrating, Rick. And they act like it's not happening. I don't even see, Mike Brown complaining about it. I guess nobody complains about it because they want their players to get away with it too. I don't know.
It is very hard to understand what exactly the rule is, what's a travel and what's a not. And like you said, he does not need any more advantages. He's already Euro stepping from the 3-point line. And, the guy, exactly. He can already do that. He doesn't need any more help. And speaking of Giannis, I'm firmly in the camp. I don't want Giannis. I I think that he's great. I think that he is still one of the best 3, at the very most 5 best players in the league, but it's probably definitely closer to the top 2 or 3. He's putting up MVP stats this year. He killed the Knicks, as he has done very often. I don't want Giannis just because I don't feel like him and Brunson match. I don't think that they are, a good tandem as far as your 2 best players. But a lot of people, especially after that game, have turned up the noise about, a potential Giannis trade and the Knicks, basically gutting the roster for him. Do you support that movement?
Well, I mean, it depends what you mean by gutting the roster. I don't want to give up OG. And it can never happen because I don't want to give up OG or Mikhail. But I'll really give up Cat and anybody else. But no OG, Mikhail, and Brunson. And they're not going to take it unless they get, Cat and one of those other 2 guys. But if they would, I would have to consider it.
I think if that trade gets made, I actually don't think Cat is the person that would be involved, because I think that
there's no way the Knicks would want to get Giannis and keep Cat. What
do you mean?
I don't know.
He's always played with a stretch 5.
But then
they got Miles Turner. So what? Another team wants to have Cat and Miles Turner? That's no sense.
But then what do you do? Right. So wait. So they want to have.
They want OG and Bridges. They want OG in that trade. They probably want they probably want OG. Yeah,
I'm not giving up OG
and picks. Yeah, I don't. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
OG's going to be one of the greatest defensive players ever playing this game,
and his offense has gotten much better. You see what I'm saying about his handle? Tell me you don't think his handle's gotten a little bit better.
I think he's got kind of like fat palms.
No, he definitely sometimes, but he's doing less of that thing where he's like grabbing the ball like this and like not on his finger. He's doing less of that. Not only is his handle better, Dad, but there's less time. There's more times where he gets to the rim and goes up and gets up a legitimate shot and doesn't like do some shit.
He's worked on his definitely. That dunk yesterday was awesome.
That dunk was awesome, and these drives that we're seeing with the left-handed finish recently have been fantastic.
Yeah. No, Nick, there's a lot to feel good about, especially offensively. I think I think yesterday was a glaring example of us just easing off the gas with the intensity on defense. And
how do you start off the fucking game like that when you just lost 2 straight?
How do you start off the game like that? How do you ease off the gas in the waning parts of the fourth quarter? None of it makes sense to me. But especially starting off the game.
In the fourth quarter, I think that there were some times where
we got fatigued.
I just think that in the fourth quarter, it was a back and forth game, the ebbs and flows of a game. We had such a good third quarter that I was nervous about, we're going to fall off a little bit in this fourth quarter, just because that's typically what happens in the NBA. But I also just felt like you can't dig yourself into that deep of a hole. And I don't understand. There's a big thing, and they're like, well, we talked about what's happened, but, we got to live in the present, and that's the past, and we got to move forward. The Knicks need to not move forward so much. The Knicks need to go into this next game thinking about what the fuck has happened in these last 3 games and come out thinking about it because it seems like at halftime we're like, damn, we get annoyed with ourselves with how we played in the first half yesterday, and then we come out with a heightened level of intensity. We're playing the exact same team again on Sunday.
Right.
If they start the fucking game flat in that scenario, I can't call it.
Yeah. I mean, look, Nick, if we want to get to where we want to get to this year, we have to be able to beat teams like Chicago. Plain and simple.
Chicago 5-0 right now.
I know. Chicago's a lot better, Nick, but, come on, man. Okay. Are we not on par with these guys? I mean, if we lose to them 2 straight, we're saying we're not on par with them. We need to be on par or better than them.
Everybody has to remember that the Pacers were a 500 team in January last year.
That's true.
In January.
That's true.
So I'm hoping that I'm trusting the process. I'm trusting the fact that Mike Brown is figuring some things out. He's figuring out some rotations, that we're going to get more to a 8 or 9 guy rotation. I found it interesting that Landry Shamet was still the first player off the bench, even with Deuce McBride back yesterday. Deuce McBride, condolences to him for losing his grandmother. Well. Shamet's been playing very well.
Yeah.
I've loved what I've seen from Shamet, but also Shamet, guy, for what he gives us and what he means to us as a player, I can't have you miss 4 wide open threes in a row. When he first comes into the game, I need you to hit 1 or 2 of those. There's been a lot of, hey, we're getting good shots, so we're not hitting them. Obviously that is going to progress to the mean at some point. But sometimes there's these little stretches where it's like, especially from a guy like Shamet, I need you to stick 1 or 2 of those. Novak on the call last night, who I thought did a very good job, by the way.
Yeah, Novak sounds good.
I like Novak. Novak Novak, I never see Novak miss 4 threes in a row. Never.
No, but
Shaman does a lot more than him as
exactly.
a player.
I was about to say, but Shaman does like 5 other things.
Okay,
that Novak will
but
never do too.
I need him to. You know what I mean? When you get in the game, I need you to. I'm not going to expect you to shoot 60%, but he missed 4 good looks in a good spot. And it's just like, come on, man. I love what I'm seeing from Brunson as far as his distribution, his defense, everything about Brunson. Brunson's fucking ready to play.
Brunson came back ready to play.
To play.
You can see he worked this off season. He's ready, man. Came ready.
Yeah.
Some other guys not so much. I mean, listen. I mean, Bridges actually looks very ready to me. He got blown by a couple times last night, but
Bridges had a tough game yesterday as far as the blow-bys. But thus far this season, I think you could argue that Bridges has been our most consistent player.
Yes, he's been fantastic. Cat's got to still round into form and all that. I wish, I don't know. He looks like he's lost a little bit of weight, but I still think he could be a little more trim. I mean, look, Cat's just not a trim guy.
I think it's the opposite. I want to say, if I was Cat's like strength and conditioning guy, what I would be trying to do for him is, hey, we're going to spend an entire offseason and we're just going to work on your lower body. Because that's why he's getting pushed out by these 6'7" guys, is because they have the lower center of gravity and they're stronger than him. Cat's lower half he's not, you could tell he's not very strong down there. That's why
he's not very strong than Nick, but he has to figure out. Listen, there are guys, Nick, who don't have great lower body, and you say these shorter guys are strong or not. That's fine. Everything doesn't have to be power. You use your power selectively. But he has to know how, as a basketball player, to make his height his advantage when working on smaller guys.
He did it yesterday in the third quarter. In the third quarter yesterday, he had a great third quarter yesterday, 15 points in the third quarter, and he was going to the rim a lot. He was going to the rim a lot.
I don't understand why he's so inconsistent with that then. I don't understand that.
I think there's 2 things involved. I think some of it is. I think it's Cat. I mean, first and foremost, the responsibility is with Cat, and I do like about Cat that he stands up in an interview and he says stuff like that. He says like, "I gotta be better," and that's on me. I do think as a team, as a coaching staff, we have to do a better job of getting him involved. At the end of the day, he is a big man. He's not. You can't. As much as you want him to self-start, some of it has to be where we are consciously going out of our way to get him the ball in advantageous positions. I don't think we do that well enough, but yes, I will. There are times that Cat drives me nuts with the attempts that he gets with smaller players on him, and it's one of those things that until we figure out a way to scheme other teams out of that, they're going to continue to do it. Like him and Josh Hart almost can't be on the floor at the same time.
It's incredible. It's terrible sometimes.
It's very hard for them to be on the floor at the same time with the deficiencies that Josh Hart has, and exploiting those makes it easier to guard Cat. Josh Hart in general, man, it's like, dude, if he's not grabbing 12, 13 rebounds, what's he giving us?
Yeah.
Offensively, there's times where he makes that move. You talk about guys getting into the paint but not even really looking for a shot. Josh Hart. Right. And that's the thing I don't understand. Josh Hart, dog, you're not a shooter. Sometimes when he gets into the paint, he's got to look to finish.
He's got to look to finish, but I tell you what, man, especially with the long arm, long player NBA, he gets a shot fetched very quickly, very easily.
Yeah.
I mean, punched off the backboard. And, it's just crazy, man. I mean, again, Nick, I mean, like with the Chicago team yesterday, it seems like every team has like 3 Diawaras. Our guy, they have like 3 guys like that, Nick, where their arms continue everywhere and they can run up and down the court. We got one guy like that, but he doesn't play. I wouldn't mind seeing some minutes out of him.
I've been.
We could have used him last night, Nick, against some of these guys.
That team, I was like, yo, we need a little bit more length. Get him in the game. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. I was thinking like over Josh Hart, because really, who's he playing instead of him or Shamit? Really, or maybe over Yabusele. I'm like, yo, man, get this Cat in the fucking game.
Well, but I think what probably Mike Brown is thinking is, while that guy might get some burn, he's got to give these guys their fair chance. Yabusele, Shamit, so forth. And then, at some point, hopefully, offer some good play, offer some wins, he decides, let's give this guy a shot and get him in there for some minutes, I don't know. But I think that kid's a talent, man, and he's got the right body and the lively body that can be very helpful to us.
Plays hard, too. He plays hard and he's active on defense, man. I just feel like when it comes to Josh Hart, his size makes him a bit of a liability both on offense and defense for the reasons we just talked about. And he can't be so scared to shoot that now it's affecting like him shooting that little floater or even shooting at the rim. Like he doesn't even like. We haven't seen Josh Hart grab a rebound and go coast to coast and lay a ball up once.
That's his signature move. He has to be, honestly, Josh Hart needs to, instead of being 6'5", needs to be 6'9" to play the way he does, really. And then it would be more palatable. But frankly, at his size, I need a guy. If you're at that size, I need you to be able to dribble, get to the hole, or shoot the lights out. None of those things he really does.
And nowadays, everybody in the league can shoot. Except for Josh Hart, it feels like.
And nowadays, everybody who Josh Hart is playing against is 6'8" and has a 7-foot wingspan.
Right.
And so he has to be like 3 or 4 feet ahead of him to try to get a layup.
Yeah.
Or they're just, I mean, literally, Nick, some of the blocks against this guy look so easy. It looks like guys are literally standing there waiting, saying, okay, now, boom. And, it's just like they just time it up, and it's so easy. It's like playing, I don't want to say playing against a child, but just a very small, much smaller person.
Yeah. Oh, man. Now we play Chicago again, like I said, on Sunday night. And, if we lose that game at all, but especially if, we get handled and there's some point where, they're up by 15 plus and they're running around, Garden's going to be getting a little bit antsy.
Oh, yeah.
That there's already people in the New York media, the Sal Licatas of the world, wannabe shock jocks, are, already screaming that, Mike Brown's a bum and this and that and he's a fake coach, I think he said. I don't even know what the fuck that means.
He was very unhappy with the Tibbs firing. But, yeah, I don't know.
Listen, I am typically somebody who can kind of crash out a little bit and, over just a very small sample size. But I went into this year saying that I wasn't going to do that. It is definitely, affecting my mood overall when I watch the Knicks lose 3 straight games in a row. But I do see certain things that I feel good about. I see flashes of an offense that has a lot more movement. I see times where the defensive intensity picks up. I just don't understand what has to happen to make that more consistent. Is that a coach getting through to these guys? Is that these guys, becoming, I don't know, is there supposed to be some sort of like players only meeting? Like, I don't know. I don't know exactly what needs to happen.
Definitely not time enough for that yet.
It's not time for that yet. But it just really bothers me when it's like, we have the talent, but there's a lack of intensity. That makes me feel like, very, very nervous because it's like maybe we just don't have it.
Well, but listen, Nick. Sometimes that's something that has to be built, and that comes with playing together and getting the right chemistry and getting the right results to do it. But you have to keep at your plan and program to build that. I think we can, but I just thought of something that I think could be a very good show enhancement.
Okay.
Seriously. For something just like this or different times, who knows? I think we can get this at a store. We need like a panic button right here on the table. That, like if this were 10 games from now, 15 games from now with the Knicks, and they had lost 10 of those 15 games, you might be like, okay, I got to hit the panic button for the Knicks. Or would you have hit the panic button already for the Jets?
I mean, I would have hit the panic button for the Jets after like week 2 of the preseason. But no, hey, I like that you're producing the show during the show. I asked you to help me produce the show a little bit during the week and come with some ideas.
This is when my creative juices are flowing.
Yeah, okay.
Saturday morning.
I'm with the panic button. I'm with the panic button. I'm even thinking of some things post-production that we can do to enhance that whole thing. Yeah, man, look, long season.
Yeah, certainly.
Honestly, though, I think it's going to say something about this team and who they are, internally, how we come out in this game on Sunday. I just really hope that this team is annoyed with themselves right now. I hope this team is annoyed with themselves and they feel like,
that was a very winnable game yesterday.
It's a very winnable game.
Absolutely.
We just got to not give up 135 fucking points.
Dude, the way we played in the third quarter, if we played like that for two and a half quarters.
Just one other quarter. We just needed one other quarter where we play. If we play like that in the first or second quarter, we win the game.
Yeah. Yeah, the lack of consistency is pretty bad. But Nick, there were moments we felt like this last year too. And let's be honest, there are moments that virtually every team feels like this and gets annoyed, except for maybe Chicago, who's 5-0, or is San Antonio lost yet? So I don't know. We're a little tough patch, but we'll be all right. I think we'll be all right.
Yo, what's up with Ryan Rollins, man? This cat from Milwaukee, short, light-skinned cat.
He's pretty good. I mean, he can shoot. I'm watching the game the other night. I'm like, does this guy miss?
He's nice, yo.
He's
averaging.
Rookie?
No. He's been in the league for a while, but he's just one of these cats who's just like crazy emerging.
Never heard of him before.
This is his year, and that's the thing. That totally changes the entire outlook for Milwaukee.
Totally does.
If that cat is going to be he's scoring like 18 right now, but I mean, he's looking like he's got the makings of a 22, 23-point a game score.
Honestly, with everything they got going on, and with that guy, it's like maybe they're better off without Dame. Honestly, I mean,
I don't even think that's a question.
Right.
I mean, clearly the trade for Dame, where you give up Drew Holiday, that was a mistake.
It's a bad move.
That was a bad move.
Didn't work.
That's why I don't like the idea of Brunson and Giannis, because again, Giannis is going to have the ball in his hands.
Right.
And so he needs guys around him that are comfortable just sitting there and occasionally getting a shot. And when they get one, they're sticking it. And then also he needs guys that don't need to dribble the ball and, drive the ball to be able to create advantages a lot, because when they do that, the guy who's guarding Giannis is sagging off of him because he wants Giannis to catch the ball from outside and have to put it up and shoot.
Yeah, no, you make good points. Definitely.
But this kid Ryan Rollins, man, he's definitely
very good
on the come up. He's looking like he's a legit player. Wemby is still wowing. I mean, he does something. That shit where he's like gets the ball as the outlet gets passed to him, which is crazy. That part of it, at least, the fact that the outlet's getting passed to him and he's dribbling up through his legs, behind his back again. Like, what are we even watching, man?
There's literally nothing. I'm trying to think of it, Nick. What can you say? Like, he can't. No, you can't give him the ball in that situation.
Nah,
can't give him the ball at this part in this part of the court. Nothing. There's nothing like that with that guy.
Nothing.
And he's 7'5". I mean, you can have him bring it up. You could give it to him down low. You can give it to him in the corner for a corner three. Mm-hmm. You can give it to him anywhere for a three. Mm-hmm. You can give it to him and say, create, get to the hoop.
Yep.
Do what you got to do.
And he's out there hitting people with the sham god. Like, right. just like what? It's
and
crazy.
Then the sweet dish.
He's going up strong now. He's got the step through. He's not fading away anymore.
No.
He's not shooting threes crazy anymore.
No.
And defensively, he's blocking your shot with his elbow
every time.
Just punching nigga shit. And it's just like
and then to top it all off, a little cherry on top, a little dream shake for you.
Little dream shake. This guy is such a problem, man.
This is a problem.
I don't understand. Man. And then, that team, you got Fassel. You got Castle, and then you got Vassell. Oh. No, there's a Castle, and then there's a Vassell. And they also look very similar. They literally tie their dreads up the exact same way and everything.
Dude, that was kind of confusing the hell out of me, that game when I was watching it at one point.
I bet it was.
What?
I bet it was. And then you got De'Aaron Fox is still on the mend. He's coming back.
Yeah. Fastest guy in the NBA with the ball.
They say, honestly, I think the fastest guy in the NBA with the ball is Maxey. And
he's pretty fast.
By the way, your boy Jared McCain, he's practicing. So he's going to be back at any moment.
Don't sleep on the Sixers. I mean, they are going to be much improved.
They say Paul George is looking close to coming back. Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day,
he'll get hurt again.
When Paul George and Embiid come back, they need to work themselves into what they got going on down there.
Exactly, Nick. They know they don't need to disrupt nothing.
Right.
And I'm telling you, I don't wish it on him, but I don't think he definitely doesn't make it the rest of the season uninjured. And I think he'll have another somewhat serious injury keeping him out at least a month during the season.
It's hard to bet against that with his history for sure. And this kid Edgecombe, man, kid is a stud. He's putting up numbers like,
where did he go to school?
Edgecombe went to Baylor, I'm pretty sure. He's West Indian. He's Bahamian.
Bahamian. Okay.
It's Bahamian?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if Google agrees, but
if Google don't agree, Google's wrong.
Shout out to all our people down in Jamaica, by the way. They're dealing with Hurricane Melissa, and we share our love and our support to them and down there and dealing with that. But Austin Reeves,
Nick, that guy, he's another guy, Nick.
I mean,
I was
he's
watching
been on
that
the
game
come
the
up.
other night. I know, but that finished the other night.
We had 50. Oh no, the game after that where he had
Where
40 something, but he had the buzzer beater.
No, he had 29 that night.
Okay, he only had 29. Okay,
but these guys, what a comeback by Minnesota, and that drive and layup by Julius.
Man,
like, look at Julius! What a play! I was enjoying that night.
Julius has very good numbers this year. He's shooting like 46% from behind the arc.
But then your man Austin Reeves came down, had what's his name? Had totally shook up Gobert.
Yeah.
And then hit the shot with your man Ragu trailing. Whew, man, I tell you, Austin Reeves, man, that kid offensively, Nick, he is good, and he was an undrafted two-way contract guy.
He played for Texas, right?
I don't know who he played for, Nick, but I know that they said he was undrafted.
Yeah,
and
he's
was on
undrafted.
A two-way contract.
Look, I saw.
Dude, he's a star, Nick. Top 20 in the league, star.
Close, if not very, very close to
very close.
No, he played for Wichita State, and then he played for Oklahoma his last 2 years, not Texas. But I saw a compilation of him in college, and it was like all these NBA GMs should be fired because it's obviously it's a highlight reel, so it's the best of it. But what you see is these are NBA moves, like the shit he was doing in college. He was hitting people with pull up, jump shot, and shit. Like I'm like, yo, man, that shit.
Game.
You know that type of shit can translate. And I guess the book coming out was that he wasn't athletic enough, which I think is a little bit of a reverse racism situation, honestly. Because the dude's he's decently athletic. And now Luka's back. Your boy Ayton, he's playing. All right, I've never seen a guy dye his hair the same color as his skin. If you're going to go blonde, go like Drewski blonde. You know what I'm saying? But come on, man. Like, what is he trying to do with the hair?
I think Ayton's Bahamian.
Yeah, he is. He is.
He's an interesting guy.
To say the least. Speaking of hair, what's up with your boy Jaylen Brown getting his Beijing all over OG's jersey?
The zhing. Yeah, that was embarrassing.
You got to have a better zhing situation
But I saw
than that.
a picture of Jaylen Brown with his head shaved, and his head looked fine.
Yeah,
what's going on?
Clearly, he
what
wants to have hair.
Why
Lots of guys
doing
are out there. They're they're trying to hold on to the hair. They're trying to rewind the time, as my man Fat Joe likes to say. Why be 35 when you could be 24?
Well, and I mean, you look at a guy, no better proof than, say, Derek White, because everybody thought that guy would look foolish when he shaved his head. At first, when he shaved his head, it was a little bit of a...
No, he looked way better than he did when he had hair.
Better, right, but, he doesn't... He's got a straight, kind of a weird-shaped head. I don't know.
Yeah, he looks
but
like
still
looks
like
the Martian.
Times better.
He looks like the Martian dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
He still looks 100 times better. Well, and the thing is, he doesn't always look surprised now, like he's like with his eyebrows up.
Right.
So, but yeah, what's his name? Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown needs to do that. I mean, that Beijing thing was incredibly embarrassing, man. I mean, maybe it isn't embarrassing for him. I'd be embarrassed.
No, he acknowledged it. I forget exactly what he said, but he acknowledged it. At least in like a tweet or something like that.
I'm sure you can only laugh at yourself. What else can you do? And I mean, seriously, dude, in what you're doing, you're going to be perspiring. Did you not think that was a possibility? I mean, does that not cross your mind in advance, Nick? If not, you're not thinking this through. You know what I mean? Come on, man. I told you about that time in the gold pit. We sprayed.
He shaved his head.
No, we sprayed.
No, he shaved his head.
Oh,
Jaylen Brown shaved his head.
Good. But we sprayed this dude, Lenny Spinelli. He was balding in the top, and we sprayed the whole thing. Had to spray here, and we sprayed it on, and it looked pretty good for like 4 minutes. But then the market got busy, and we started trading, and everybody started going, "Oh my God!" He was bleeding black ink straight down his face. It was hilarious. It was great. Kind of like your man Rudy.
Yo, man, you got whatever you got going on. I mean, I feel
he
like
shaved his head. After that, he went right to the bathroom and took the clippers to his head.
Yo, shout out to my guy Matt Sixay. Him and I, when we first met each other, we used to call him top back chrome spinning because, his joint was going like that. He was still getting like edged up in the front, and he had the hair there in the bald spot. And it was one of those things that as soon as he and I became close enough friends where I felt like, I had the cachet to be able to say this to him, I was like, yo, my man, you got to shave your head, brother. And he shaved his head, and every time he sees me, he thanks me. He's like, yo, that shit changed my life.
Come on, the guy's a stud now. Look at him. He looks great.
What's up with Zion, though? Zion's looking good, Dad.
Zion's looking good. Zion's looking good. He's off the gumbo circuit. He's making it happen. Listen, man, we all knew with that guy. He's uber talented. We're going to see hopefully the injuries cut down.
Yeah.
Because he's not putting the pressure on his joints, and he's a monster, man. I mean,
I hope so, because the league is a better place when Zion is playing. That's for sure. The Blazers are 4-2, even without Chauncey. They're looking like an upstart team out west, like a team that is going to fight, not just for a play-in spot, but definitely, but hopefully get into the playoffs. It's just going to be. I just feel like it's going to be a really fun year in the NBA for sure.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of storylines, a lot of good play going on. Yeah, it'll be a good year. I think so.
Some of the best words in sports, right? World Series Game 7.
Yes, we'll be watching tonight. Wow. I'd say, and I think I heard them say today, Shohei starting for the.
Shohei starting. Mad Max is starting for Toronto.
I told you, I kind of do root for Toronto because of my dearly departed Uncle Neville and my first cousin Garth up there. They're big Blue Jays fans up there in Toronto. And I got no love lost for the
I don't want to see the
Dodgers
again.
So I'd like to see if they can do it, but we're gonna see, man. It's gonna be an interesting game tonight, man. They're gonna be going for it,
Yeah, well, I would hope they're going for it in Game 7 of the World Series. It's gonna be an interesting game, and I found it to be an interesting series just as far as how they've dealt with Shohei. And obviously Shohei has a opportunity tonight to really even take his legacy to a whole nother level if he's able to deliver a dominant pitching and hitting performance in Game 7 of the World Series. This Dodger lineup the other night, they intentionally walk Shohei to put men on first and second, and now you got Mookie Betts coming up. And Mookie Betts has been struggling, but he was able to get a base hit there. Their lineup is just so deep. I mean, you got Freddie Freeman, who is one of the most clutch players in MLB playoff history. Mm-hmm. And that guy Kike, like you always say, he's always making some sort of big play.
Always makes a big play. He's always in there for a big play somehow, Nick. And, listen, man, this is going to be a very interesting game, man. Either Shohei or Vlad come out as MVP.
Whichever one of those teams wins. Sure.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting, man. Wow. Because they're both playing well. Vlad has actually had a better hitting postseason, but Shohei with the home runs and the pitching, I don't know how it ends up, man, but it'll be fun to watch and see.
Yeah. Game 7 tonight, that is definitely going to be interesting. Mad Max versus Ohtani. It's got all the storylines. It's just going to be a very, very fun game. Like you said, I got no love for the Dodgers. I would rather see Toronto win. But when I had that game on the second screen yesterday, because I was watching the Knicks game on the main screen, I was like, kind of like to see the Dodgers win just so we get a Game 7.
Yeah, absolutely. Always want a Game 7. And, while I'd rather see Toronto win tonight, I'm not going to be crying if the Dodgers win. I just mainly want to see a good game.
Exactly. Yeah. Close late is what we're all rooting for. And speaking of rooting, I see you got your Jets jersey on today.
Went with the coach today because I figured,
jersey.
Coach jersey.
Hey, he gets his first win. They pull out a win against the Bengals. They got a bye week this week. Justin Fields looks about as good as he has all season. How about those Jets? And, you got to get that jersey off now because –
got to wear it after a win. Who knows if I'll get another chance. But listen, man, I was very encouraged by what I saw. There's a lot of good things about that game. Defense, we got a lot of things we're not thrilled about. Played really well the last couple of weeks before this week. Not so great this week. But at the end of the game, when we needed a couple big stops, we made them. And that's what really matters, in a game of football. While we played well the last couple of weeks, we couldn't get the stops down the stretch we needed.
Yeah.
This week we got the stops we needed down the stretch. And, man, I will tell you, this clearly, to me, was the best game called by Tanner Engstrand. Mm-hmm. Okay, in putting Justin Fields in position to be successful. And Justin Fields, I don't know if it's Woody. I don't know what it is, but he let it rip. And I hope that confidence stays with him that, hey, man, if you get an interception, we'll be okay. We just got to keep it moving. I was listening to some guys talk about it earlier, Connor Hughes and these guys on the Badlands, and they do make a good point that, hey, you know, they're tired of seeing like 4th and short or 3rd and short, and we're going with a run from the shotgun. You know, it drives them crazy, and it drives me crazy too. But I do understand that if you're trying that quick boot from under the center, if your guard blows it, then the play is over because that tackle's coming right up here and getting
the sweep last week at the beginning of the game.
It was terrible.
On like 4th and 1.
It was terrible. Well, you're pitching it back to Brees, and he's 5 yards back, but then like 2 guys get beaten on their blocks. You can't have that. There's too many opportunities.
Too many variables.
There are too many guys who have to make good blocks. And one of the blocks that had to be made, Nick, was a wide receiver making a block on a defensive guy.
Yeah.
You can't depend on that being clean and tight.
Yeah.
You know, in those situations, it's just not smart. And I think the wide receiver, it wasn't even like Lazard. It was somebody like Arian Smith. They're expecting to make the block. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. But other than that, I thought he called a very good game. Put us in position. I mean, listen, man. A lot of these guys, Nick, were schemed wide open. Some of those tight end throws, those guys were wide open, man. That's because of the scheme.
Absolutely.
Of the patterns.
Absolutely.
You know, so you got to love that. Offensive line, listen, it's no coincidence that offensive line had a great game. Justin Fields had a great game.
Yep.
It goes hand in hand. You know, keep them guys off of him, and this guy has it in his mind he can throw the ball, let him throw the ball. You know, so we need more of that, man. I do feel now, I may have said in weeks past that we should trade Brees. I'm in the camp now, don't trade Brees. We got to keep Brees.
For me, the whole thing about trading Brees, trading Quinnen, trading any of these guys is, I mean, unless you're talking about at least a 2nd-round pick.
Which we're not.
I'm not giving up Brees Hall for a 4th-round pick. For what?
You're not getting another Brees Hall in the 4th round.
No, man. We drafted him at the top of the 2nd round. We need talent on this team. It's not like you're trading somebody and you're getting these great building block. You're getting an absolute roll of the dice and one with not great odds if we're talking about 4th round or worse.
Right.
No, keep Brees, keep Quinnen. Quinnen is, he's signed for a few years and then, go in the offseason and see if you can work something out with Brees. Brees is it's a running back. He's not going to demand huge money out there.
Well, if his franchise tag would be between 11 and 12 next year, they're saying 11 and a half. After this season, I mean, even if he did sign a 3-year contract or something, I mean, what could he ask for? He's not asking for $15 million a year.
No, absolutely not.
So if you gave
Saquon
Brees,
don't make $15 million a year,
right? If you offered Brees a contract now where you were offering him, I don't know, $10 million a year,
I just don't know.
Or you give him $7 million a year with a sizable enough signing bonus for the next 3 years.
It's not going to take 7. But more close to 10. It's really just about the guaranteed money, obviously.
Right. So I'm saying
but he's going to want like $20-30 million guaranteed.
Right. So you give him $20 million signing bonus, and you sign him for $7 million a year. So all total, if he stayed for the whole contract, he'd get like $35 million for 3 years. There's no way he's saying no to that.
I just think that 7 number needs to be a little bit higher, but I agree with everything else.
Right. They got the capologists to figure all that out,
And like saying capologists.
Of course. And what's his name? Muji. He's got the guys on payroll to figure that shit out, and they can do it. But I was happy with it. And listen, this is another thing got to bring up. My man, Coach. I can't turn around because my son's got me hemmed up in here with the mic. But listen, man, I will tell you, when he was going for 2 on that first time, when he went for 2, I was sitting there saying, what are you doing? But it made perfect sense, Nick. Once it was explained to me, I understood it, and I was like, that's the right thing to do. Now, if it wasn't successful, I guarantee you he would still be getting criticized for it somehow, some way.
That was one of those where, you have to have number people because there's a breakdown where it's just like, if you go for 2 right there, it is absolutely positively the better thing to do. And it was a little bit later in the game. I don't love when you do stuff like that early in the game, and then I feel like you're always chasing those points. Later in the game, when you're in the midst of a comeback, that's when I think that it makes more sense to do that, but especially when you're 0-7.
That's right. Let's go for it. Listen, I'm bummed that we're not playing tomorrow, but okay, it is what it is because I'm dying to watch them again. But let me tell you that.
Let Jarrett, but also let Garrett and let Sauce get healthy.
Come back,
and now
yeah.
we just got to win. We come back, and these guys are all healthy. And shit, who knows what can happen, man? You know,
I think we can beat Cleveland. What's his name? I think we can mess with this kid Gabriel. You know, their defense is pretty good.
It's crazy to say for a 1-17, but I feel like we should beat Cleveland.
Yes. I absolutely feel like we should beat Cleveland. Listen.
Myles Garrett is going to be a problem.
Myles Garrett's going to be a problem, but we got to run straight at him. You know, is my point. Run straight at him. And then defensively, we got to turn this kid Dylan Gabriel over at least twice.
At least twice.
I think we can do that.
I don't understand. I mean, they don't even want to give Shedeur a look, I feel like. And it's just like, I don't get it.
Dylan Gabriel hasn't played that badly, Nick.
He hasn't played that badly, but I just...
Nick, you want Shedeur to play because you want him to play, but I think, you know, they're going to play Shedeur this year.
Blackballed. Are they?
I think they're going to play him this year, but you know, the thing also is, Nick, that he was a fifth round choice. I mean, you know, Nick, I think he's pretty good, but I also think, I do think, Nick, when you look at some of the things, and even some of the things he's done this year, I see how some of those things they're saying in the draft process might be true. I mean, he's done some silly shit, Nick. You know, so,
like what?
Well, that's one thing I saw he did, like in one interview. I don't know why he was doing. Well, he said something like, I think he said something like he's better than a lot of starters out there, or he's just said some things where it's like, dude, just pipe down, man. Play hard. Just keep your head down and play. If you're in his position, I don't think you need to be saying much to get noticed, is my point. Then he did another thing where, like, they were interviewing him, and he wouldn't say anything out loud. He was just miming the words. I don't know what you're doing there. I don't know what you're trying to do. Just keep your head down. Keep your head in the playbook and play. And then there's also been rumors that his head's not in the playbook too much, you know? So I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know. I don't think this guy, Kevin Stefanski, if this guy was light years better than Dylan Gabriel, would want Dylan Gabriel to play for some reason. I think the guy wants to win. But I don't know. I don't know. I think there could be a lot more to it, Nick.
I think there is a lot more to it.
If he said to Baltimore, I don't want you to draft me and shit like that, I think that was stupid. I don't think that made sense at all. And it clearly didn't work out for him because he could have been playing all these weeks when when what's-his-name's been hurt and really showing what he could do with a decent team behind him. With somebody like, you know, King Henry friggin' running behind him. If he did in fact do that, which everybody says,
did that.
What?
We don't know if he actually did that.
Okay.
I haven't seen that. Like, I haven't seen that like widely reported. I've seen the rumor, but I haven't seen that widely reported or reported by anybody who, you know, I give any clout to.
I thought Adam Schefter said it.
That Adam Schefter said that Shedeur didn't want to be drafted by.
I know it was reported widely on ESPN, Nick, and by a lot of people on ESPN said that, you know, they have it on strong authority that he told Baltimore that he didn't want to be drafted by them because he didn't want to sit behind what's the name, which doesn't make any sense to me because if Shedeur was at his best, he'd be like Lamar. He wouldn't even be like Lamar.
No,
but
Shadeur's not, you know,
right. He doesn't run that much like that. And you know.
I get why you wouldn't want to go play behind, like, you know, one of the 3 or 4 best quarterbacks in the NFL. If you're a guy who wants to be a starter, if you're a guy,
Nick, I get that.
Many people were talking about being drafted in the first round, so you feel like you got a good chance to come out and be a starter in this league, like right now. I think you get drafted
by. I don't think you tell. You may feel that way, Nick, but I don't think you say that out loud to any team in the NFL. Yeah. I think you could feel that way fine, but
I think I think that if he was a projected 5th round pick, I could understand that. I think that when you're a projected 1st round pick, lots of times over the years, those guys have certain places where they want to go or don't want to go, and usually it has to do with, if not the organization and, you know, their overall perception, their ability to play and how long that's going to take. I mean, you know, Aaron Rodgers didn't want to be drafted by the Packers back when he got drafted. But, you know, the Packers weren't even somebody that were part of the conversation because they thought he was going to go so much earlier than them. All I'm saying is I get why.
Now, Aaron Rodgers may not want to be part of the Packers, Nick, but we found out about that afterwards. I don't think Aaron Rodgers said that to the Packers beforehand or anything.
Because he wasn't even on.
But I don't think he said that to anybody. You know, that's my point, Nick. I don't think he did or would have, even though as verbose as he is. Back then, he wasn't so verbose. He was a newbie. He wasn't trying to say that to anyone. The only people who really said shit like that was Elway and say like Manning.
Eli Manning.
Yeah. Right. Otherwise, Nick, listen, man, you don't know who's going to draft you, what your situation is. I don't think you walk into an organization and say, nah, don't, I don't think that makes sense for anybody. You're a little cheeky right there. Let's slow it down. And this is exactly why, because it comes back to bite you in the ass. There's really no upside in doing that. I guess maybe the upside would be if you didn't get drafted by that team and got drafted by, I don't know, somebody who needs you to play right now. But as it turns out, you'd have been playing the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously, hindsight's 2020
and
when
a
it
great
comes to
coaching
that
staff
and many other things. I feel, like you said, there's a lot of more things going on. I firmly believe that there is some level of collusion and some level of an agenda that has been by NFL owners that has now been communicated to the coaching staff to keep this kid down a little bit. I absolutely feel that way.
So you think that the Cleveland Brown team ownership, GM, and coaching staff are willing to carry the water for the rest of the league, and keep by keeping Shedeur down, even if they think he's more qualified?
I think similar to Kaepernick, if it was overwhelming, like if Kaepernick was one of the best 10 quarterbacks in the league, they probably wouldn't have blackballed him just because some team would have been like, hey, this guy can really change the outlook of our franchise. I think similar when it comes to Shedeur, it's not like he's just by far and away the number one quarterback, and the team would be so much better and it would totally change the trajectory if he was playing. Right. But I think that if it's close, there is some agenda behind keeping him down. I really do believe that.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I think Cleveland wants to win. And I think if the other coaches or other people in the league said something like that to Cleveland and Cleveland thought they had a better chance with Shedeur, they'd be like, yeah, okay, rest of the league, kick rocks. This kid's playing. But I don't think they see that. And I think, I honestly, Nick, I like Shedeur. I liked him in college. You know that. I want to see him get a shot here. But, some of the things that I've read and heard about him, and this may be part of certain people putting bad things out there about him because they don't like him. But it also may be because it's true, and it's not flattering. It's not flattering, and it's especially not flattering for someone who you want to run your team and all that. It's not. And, if he's not in the playbook enough, Nick, I'm not seeing. I'm not. I've heard reports like that, Nick. I watch ESPN, and I hear these guys talking. I listen to it every morning on the way to work. They talk about it, and they do debate about it. It's not fact. Nobody could say it's fact, but they don't say it about every quarterback. But maybe they're just trying to besmirch him. But we're going to see. He's going to get in the game this year, but he's got to get into a game hopefully where he's named. Where he's getting enough reps so he'll be prepared when he gets in there. He's in the second spot now. So, this guy, Dylan Gabriel, he's not a big guy. He could get hurt any minute. Shedeur's going to get a shot, man. Watch him get in the game against the Jets. Watch.
Free Shedeur. Free my man Myles Garrett, too. Myles Garrett, go ahead. Trade him, man. Get him out of there.
What do you mean? Nick, he had every chance to get out of there.
I know.
He chose to stay.
He's a loyal guy, but at the end of the day,
Nick, he's loyal for what? He said he wanted out. They offered him a boatload of money. He stayed.
No, but if he really wanted to, he could make a stink and get out of there. And he's a player.
Now?
No, not now. I'm talking about.
He did
many times throughout his career. He could,
this past offseason.
He made us think about getting the right amount of money that he wanted.
He made us think saying he wanted out. He said he will never come back and play for the Cleveland
Browns. That was about money. That wasn't about him wanting that. Well,
we know it was about money because after he said it and they offered him a boatload of money, he said, "I'll take it."
Yes, I wish that he would make more of a stink about just not wanting to play with them because they're a shit organization and he's the greatest defensive player in this era, and we never see him get to play a meaningful game.
But Nick, he did that. And then
he did
that. He made a stink about wanting to get out, and that was a horrible team.
But that was still, we know that was about money.
No, Nick. The only reason it was about money is because he acquiesced. Had he not acquiesced, which he could have done,
but he did.
But if he didn't acquiesce, Nick, he still would have gotten the same amount of money.
I'm not talking about hypotheticals. I'm talking about what happened.
Right, and he decided to stay not because he's a loyal guy, because he got offered the most money, and that's great.
No, he could have got that money anywhere.
Right, but he decided to stay there.
Because
so I don't feel bad for him.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not necessarily saying I feel bad for
But you
him
say free
personally.
Myles Garrett.
I'm saying
Free him
I
from
feel
what?
bad. I feel bad for. I would like to see him play significant games. I would like to see him play on, make big plays in January and February, in playoff games. And I would love to see him get traded to a contender and be able to make a real impact on a Super Bowl run.
I don't feel like every great player needs to play on a great team. It would be nice for them, but it doesn't work out that way sometimes. And he's making generational money, and good for him. And he made a decision to stay there for the money, and that's the way it is, man. You could have gotten your way out of town, but there's no sure thing in that either. You could have went to another team, and they could have turned out shit. Nobody knows in the NFL, man. Cleveland could be great next year.
Odds are Cleveland won't be great next year. They haven't been great in my lifetime.
Well, you never know. I mean, I've seen some years where, Cleveland, the Brian Sipe years and all that in the 80s. So it could happen again.
In the 80s.
You were alive.
Okay, not that I can remember. Let's say it that way.
Okay.
Catch us every week on YouTube or wherever you find your podcast. Please follow, like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification button on all platforms. Really appreciate all the love. You can find us on all socials at Independent Nick. That's Independent N.I.C. Love you, big guy.
Love you, kid.